Isiolo is situated in northern Kenya on the edge of the semi-arid northern rangelands, and it has one of the highest rates for HIV in Africa. This is one of the most marginalized and poorest areas in Africa. Isiolo is on a major truck route and has an army barracks and a police depot. Any one of these can trigger a high incidence of HIV, and Isiolo has all three. Many of the townspeople were nomadic until they lost all their animals to drought or cattle raids. They moved into Isiolo homeless and destitute to look for work. But there's no industry in the town, and the people are trapped in a downward spiral of poverty, starvation, and disease. Tumaini Senior Primary School opened on May 2nd, 2007, with an intake of 34 at-risk students from the 9 communities served by Pepo La Tumaini. Pepo La Tumaini is an organization based in Isiolo that's focused on people living with AIDS. These children have either lost both their parents to AIDS or have one very sick parent in the last stages of AIDS. Most have been abandoned by their communities. These children are now head of household and are aged from 12 to 16 years.
For you have that ability to take that.
Rashida is an orphan who was living with an ailing grandfather. Rashida used to roam the street in search of food for her family, but a Tumaini member on a home-based care mission identified her and brought her and her grandmother to Tumaini in 2002.
I'm worried because I remember how we lived with him. I'm so scared for him. Yeah. When I go there, I met Madam Adija, and I told him I need her to help me for school.
Pepo La Tumaini was started in 2000 by Khadija Rama to help people dying of AIDS who had been abandoned by their communities, so they could die with dignity in a supportive environment.
I started as a teacher, and then I trained as a sociologist. But all the same, I was also one person who was affected by it. The same scourge of HIV/AIDS. I personally lost 5 brothers, plus their wives, and I was left first with 13 children of my own relatives.
Over the past few years, Khadija has become more and more responsible for the orphan children of these patients, and she now works with more than 1,000 families in 9 different areas around Isiolo. Jackson is a hard-working boy with a very high ambition in life. He was left behind with 3 siblings, and he happens to be the firstborn, which places all responsibility on him.
When we discovered them, we registered secondary hunger and starvation in that household. And also when we tried to follow up Jackson, he was never going to school. He was going to the streets and also the market to try and collect anything he could bring back.
The difference that now, when I go here, I was weak, but now I am healthy. And I wear tonic clothes, but now I wear good clothes that is not no tonic.
What Jackson was doing sometimes when there was nothing at all, he would either sleep in the street or come back home, and the grandmother, just the psycho aspect of it, would boil some water and give to the children. So when we found him, he was malnutrited, and most of the children in the household. But as a program, we also look at our capacity. We have so many households in these center points, and most of them are in this severe situation. So we only take a child per household, and that is why Jackson ended up here, because he's also one child who is a bit clever, and we thought by empowering Jackson, we can be empowering somebody who is more productive in that household.
Their extreme poverty has meant that the relentless daily search for food on the family table has inevitably led them to go to the streets, begging for casual labor and food. If nothing changes, they will eventually sell their bodies for food for their siblings. Caroline has been an adult and is now having to adjust to being a child again. She was forced onto the street as an innocent girl who had to learn the hard life and become a thief as well as a commercial sex worker. Caroline had to do this to feed her hungry family and to take care of a sick mum who later passed on, leaving her as head of the household.
My father died first because of HIV AIDS, and also my mother followed by maybe 2 years ahead, 2 years back.
Caroline was beaten and even locked in police cells, and this made her hate the world.
But Caroline is a strong girl. When she gets a second chance, she actually adopts and goes in, and it gives her a chance to be a better child than me.
Because I see that, you see now she was still suffering a lot.
Caroline was brought in by a human rights activist who found her in police custody, and the organization took her for rehabilitation. She has managed with this very well and has now moved up from the primary to Tumaini Senior School.
All these children now having support after heading household, all these children having a second chance, then I can see that there is reason, and especially when they're smiling, when they're happy, and when they're together, and when they can sit upright and just tell their story as a story now, not as what they are living.
The school covers standards 6, 7 and 8, the last 3 years of primary school in Kenya. Approximately 33 students will be recruited each year into standard 6, making for a school of about 100 students. The school teaches the Kenya national curriculum, but also teaches life skills and gives students vocational training so that when they graduate, they will have the necessary skills to support themselves and their families.
A beautiful thing to do, because it's giving a child a second chance to smile genuinely. But before, this student could still smile with tears in their eyes. But now, they are beautiful children again.